These people frighten me. They frighten me. When you have mainline candidates that turn around and say that there's nothing off the table with respect to Iran, that's code for using nukes, nuclear devices. I got to tell you, I'm President of the United States. There will be no preemptive wars with nuclear devices. To my mind, it's immoral, and it's been immoral for the last 50 years as part of American foreign policy.
Let's use a little moderator discretion here. Senator Gravel, that's a weighty charge. Who on this stage exactly tonight worries you so much?
Well, I would say the top-tier ones. The top-tier ones. They've made statements. Oh, Joe, I'll include you too. You have a certain arrogance. You want to tell the Iraqis how to run their country. I got to tell you, we should just plain get out. Just plain get out. It's their country. They're asking us to leave, and we insist on staying there. And why not get out? What harm is it going to do? Oh, you hear the statement, well, my God, the soldiers will have died in vain. The entire deaths of Vietnam died in vain. And they're dying in vain right this very second. And you know what's worse than a soldier dying in vain is more soldiers dying in vain. That's what's worse.
Rest in peace to the real one.
P.S. Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
Like, it's just so fucked up. And, like, it's upsetting to me. While Kissinger still takes breath, you got people like Mike Gravel. Like, it's just sucks. It just sucks. And actually, let's see if I can find this thing real quick before we get into it. If you didn't know, Mike Gravel also has one of the most iconic
P.S. Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
iconic campaign ads that you will ever see. Face of PJ, that would be fantastic. But yeah, just gonna give it up to one of the greatest campaign ads you will ever see. And I'm gonna pause the music. Just know the sound is on.
P.S. Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
I know you're hoping and praying that maybe we'll have another war, but it ain't happening.
Where's the lie? Where's the fucking lie? Legend shit. There it is. They don't make campaign ads like that.
2020 candidate Mike Gravel eased.
Okay, so, ooh, let's get this going. Yes, sir. All right. So, yeah, rest in peace, Mike Gravel. You know, pour one out. I'm going to have a sip of water in honor. And also, too, you know, like, the thing is, like, he was willing to, he read the whole Pentagon Papers, which, yeah, like, spelled out, like, yeah, like, just the whole Pacific strategy was just complete horseshit. Yeah, one of the few, right? But what are we going over today? Today, I want to do at least get through like the first 3 chapters while, you know, like talking about it and, you know, having a nice discussion with y'all. Ooh, actually, before that, let me rewind real quick. Thank you, Sal, for the raid. Welcome, Raiders. It's Left Flank Vets. I'm hoping you might have heard of us. Al is one of our great mods. We love her, folks, don't we? I do want to say thank you to Papayo 10 TV for the Prime subscription as well. So yeah, thanks y'all for being here. Let's read some Little Red Book. And also too is like understanding like this is a collection of Mao's work, right? Had a lot of writings, and was a renowned poet as well. But why? Why are we reading this? Well, I'm going through it because like in my head, I said, hey, the Black Panthers had something. They were doing something that was able to convince people to keep coming to the point where the FBI said, no, this can't happen anymore. Okay? Now, like, I know this seems a little weird, but like, I want to get to that point. Okay? We're not there yet. We're not even close. Okay? I want to get to, how do we get to that point? Because that means we're doing something right. So basically, you know, let's go back. I'm going to go back in time, say, hey, I'm a new person just walking in to the Black Panther Party. And they say, sit your ass down. You need to learn something first. And so this is one of the things, it was one of the readings that budding, new recruits would have to read, and understand in order to become a full-fledged party member. And so, yeah, this is like, I don't know what fucking method actors do or some shit, right? Like, I'm just gonna say, hey, let me try and read through the material that Black Panthers had, put forward. Maybe give me a fucking better understanding of like what it was, right? That they were able to, because if it was simple, if it was just like, oh hey, they're doing this, like we should have been able to been there, but like we might be missing something, right? So start where they're at. Here we get to Mao's Little Red Book, which was one of, the readings for the Black Panthers. And yeah. Like, what else do we got to do, right? Like, what else do we have? We got to figure this shit out. Like, and that's he's like, time's ticking, right? Climate change, right? Time is ticking. So, and I don't know. Do you want to? We can read the. Do you want to read the first, the forward to this the second edition? I don't know if we're gonna go on that. All right, let's just stick to it now. All right, the force at the core leading our cause forward in the Chinese Communist Party is the Chinese Communist Party. The theoretical basis guiding our thinking is Marxism-Leninism. And pretty fucking simple, right? It's kind of just like describing the vehicle and the gasoline, between, hey, this is the party is what is leading the cause, guided by Marxism-Leninism, right? If there is to be a revolution, there must be a revolutionary party. Without a revolutionary party, without a party built on Marxist-Leninist revolutionary theory and in the Marxist-Leninist revolutionary style, it is impossible to lead the working class and the broad masses of the people in defeating imperialism and its running dogs. Running dogs. Without the efforts of the Chinese Communist Party, without the Chinese Communists as the mainstay of the Chinese people, China can never achieve independence and liberation, or industrialization and modernization of our agriculture. Which, and that's the thing too, is like, so, I've already read through this, but like, as I was like reading earlier, it's like I'm thinking about, it's like there's a lot of things that he kind of goes into. It's like warning against, dropping your guard, if you will, right? Hey, post-revolution, don't drop your guard. And like, obviously, if you look at where China is right now, like the capital interests, right? The landowning class has been able to, get back in and start, wielding some type of power and stuff like that. But, that'll come down later. The Chinese Communist Party is the core of leadership of the whole Chinese people. Without this core, the cause of socialism cannot be victorious. And, I should say too, is like also like kind of like putting it back into like, why would the Black Panthers want people to read this? What are they trying to take, try to take away? It's like, hey, in the same sense that the Chinese Communist Party is the core of leadership of the whole Chinese people, the Black Panther Party wanted to be the core of leadership for the whole of Black people. And then eventually over time, when that like they started actually, incorporate a lot of like true revolutionary theory into their actions, that's when you start building out Rainbow Coalition, so that the broader Vanguard Party can be the core leadership of the American people. A well-disciplined party armed with a theory of Marxism-Leninism, using the method of self-criticism and linked with the masses of the people. An army under the leadership of such a party, a united front of all revolutionary classes, and all revolutionary groups under the leadership of such a party. These are the three main weapons with which we have defeated the enemy, right? So using the method of self-criticism linked with the masses of the people, army under the leadership of such a party, united, all, like, having a united front of all revolutionary classes, all revolutionary groups, and under the leadership of such a party. That's, so it's kind of like, basically saying we need to use all these things, and without them we're gonna lose, but with them, hey, we're getting the people's democratic dictatorship, if you will. We must have faith in the masses. We must have faith in the party. These are two cardinal principles. If we doubt these principles, we shall accomplish nothing. And this is something that's like kind of difficult, right? Because like having faith in a party is very difficult for people right now, especially in the United States. I think for lefties in the United States, and this is where, a lot of the things that I say get, it's hard to people. I guess it's hard for people to see, like a vision of the party outside of this two-party structure that we have in the United States. Yeah. Well, this is the thing too, is it's like when you talk about having faith in the mass and having faith in the party, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I have faith in the masses and I have no faith in any party that exists right now. And what I take away from this is not so much have faith, but at least try and always act in good faith. Like you're gonna get burned, but giving people who and trust the benefit of the doubt, like, and especially when it comes to comrades and everything like that, right? Like, I don't know. I take that away, right? Because I'm not trying to have some faith in some big ass ideals and shit like that. So armed with Marxist Leninist theory and ideology, the Communist Party of China has brought a new style of work to the Chinese people, a style of work which essentially entails integrating theory with practice, forging close links with the masses, and practicing self-criticism. I do like how often he mentions oh yeah, he meant a specific party. Yeah, indeed. And I guess that where I disagree is, in the individual level, like I said, right? Like I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt. I will, try and, act in good faith whenever, just doing any of my actions or anything like, like that's, or expect until proven otherwise that people are also acting in good faith, which is definitely something hard to do. But no, I mean, as someone that was leading a party, like I'd say have faith in the party too. Sometimes that's just good. That's just a good leadership line. We'll go to that next part. Like the forging close links with the masses, practicing self-criticism. Just recognize like, hey, we always get better. Like always asking yourself is like, hey, is this whatever action that we're doing, in light with like basically just helping the people, right? Keep it as simple as that. But you know, and this is where, you know, the Black Panther Party, you know, started forging close links with the masses. Yeah, from day one, as a, you know, as a group for community defense first, you know, and like that's the thing is like you like all of them said like, listen, like the way they got the most membership was helping people, right? Like the way the most dedicated members were the ones that were down on their luck last leg until BPP came on and helped them, you know. And like that's kind of like, I don't know, the understanding where that's where the actual power is, literally giving everything that you possibly can to help another person is actually like that's the revolutionary fucking spirit. That is what actually like sears bonds together, right? It welds fucking people together. No political party can possibly lead a great revolution movement to victory unless it possesses revolutionary theory and a knowledge of history and has a profound grasp of the practical movement. Now, see, here is a sticking point, I think, for, you know, a lot of the disorganized left is profound grasp on the practical movement. I think, you know, yeah, I mean, there is no movement, right? That is the problem. There's no real practical movement at this time. You know, you could say, hey, you know, the amount of people engaged and willing to support a push to the ideological left, like in a lot of ways, I think you like very much so could have turned Bernie Sanders' campaign into, you know, like an actual left party springs out of that, right? Because as you're knocking doors, you know, like if there's a you know, if they had expanded, right, trying to expand, so even just only knocking on, you know, Democratic doors, if there's like a mutual aid apparatus built in with like Bernie's campaign, and that like sticks, you know, oh hey, we need to hire from this people out of town, you know, to come in and do this thing. No, like they create mutual aid apparatus. They should, you know, create party apparatus, actually create a party apparatus separate of the Democrats, separate, you know, who knows what could have that turned into, but that's all gone. So now it's just a lot of people who are galvanized by that, a lot of people who recognize, hey, this government is not what they profess to be, but, you know, Bernie didn't quite lead the horse to water. We'll say that. At the very least, right? But at the end of the day, I think there's just a lot of different orgs and just random people spread out that, you know, it's hard to, I mean, for me, that is what the grasp of the current like practical movement is. And that's kind of why, like, I talk about and engage with, like, you know, about like with the Black Panther Party, right? Because like that was a catalyst to a practical movement, you know, that, and like also too, it was a Marxist Leninist organization that led to a practical movement, you know. So like if we are scattered, if we are getting our asses kicked by the cops, not be able to afford rent, not be able to get food, you know, like at this point, like we as a left have no better opportunity to actually make our disorganized movement something real and practical. As we used to say, the rectification movement is a widespread movement of Marxist education. Rectification means the whole party studying Marxism through criticism and self-criticism. We can certainly learn more about Marxism in the course of the
P.S.
rectification
Ted
movement.
Cruz, go fuck yourself.
It is an arduous task to ensure a better life for the several 100 million people of China and to build our economically and culturally backward country into a prosperous and powerful one with a high level of culture. And it is precisely in order to be able to shoulder this task more completely and work better together with all non-party people who are actuated by high ideals and determined to institute reforms that we must conduct rectification movements both now and in the future and constantly
P.S.
rid
Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
ourselves of whatever is wrong. Learning is continuous, and also too of like, this is something I kind of mentioned and it's mentioned throughout the writings is Mao constantly warns people of the slide back, of the interest that won't go away right away, the last remnants of the bourgeoisie. Oh shit, do I have to spell that too? That was a spelling thing, right? All right. BOURGEOISE? Was that it? Anyway. Yeah, the last remnants of the bourgeoisie, they will try and build, right? Like they will get back and they will try and, build up. SIE? Oh, I just did SE. Or did I miss the I in front of the S? I think I missed both I's in front of and after the last S. The only S. Yo, close enough. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. But yeah, so this is, the constant thing with Mao, right? Don't ever stop reading. Don't ever stop learning. Don't ever stop self-critiquing to make sure that the goals, the focus is the people, Policy is the starting point of all the practical actions of a revolutionary party and manifests itself in the process and the end result of that party's actions. A revolutionary party is carrying out a policy whenever it takes an action. If it is not carrying out a correct policy, it is carrying out a wrong policy. If it is not carrying out a given policy consciously, it is doing so blindly. What we call experience is the process and the end result of carrying out policy. Only through the practice of the people, that is, through experience, can we verify whether a policy is correct or wrong and determine to what extent it is correct or wrong. But people's practice, especially the practice of a revolutionary party and the revolutionary masses, cannot but be bound up with one policy or another. Therefore, before any action is taken, we must explain the policy which we have formulated in the light of the given circumstances to party members and to the masses. Otherwise, party members and the masses will depart from the guidance of our policy, act blindly, and carry out a wrong policy. Now, I believe when he's saying, policy, you'd like these large programs and, directives and shit like that. But at the end of the day, it's something like that they even, this is something they teach Marines. Like, you need, especially like when you get like team leader, squad leader, whatever, platoon sergeant, they're like, you need to explain something to like the dumbest dude, the lowest the PFC that just got here yesterday, like whatever. You need to be able to make sure that what you're explaining, like, the lowest common denominator. Like, they get it. Because as soon as no one's looking and they're just acting on their own, like, you need them to, like, be able to do, right? They need to understand why. So they know what, like, why they should keep doing what they do. Like, they need to understand why. And, like, that's something that we absolutely do not have at all. This is just something that, like, it's well, it just sucks. It sucks. Because what are you gonna do? People, and, like, there's plenty of organizations that say, hey, you just came in, we want you to, you know, read this theory so that you could be a good member of this organization. But, like, it's not something people really fucking do engage with. And it's not a regular, like, updated thing that is actually driven to the party. Because, like, well, and I'll say this, right? So it's like, in the DSA chapter that I was in when I was, like, living in Portland, like, they did, you know, readings and everything like that. Did those readings actually inform any of actions of the chapter? No, not really. You know, like, and that's kind of where, like, you could, you know, like, there needs to be a more direct, what do you say, continuous improvement, right? Self-criticism. Well, where was it? Let's say, not carrying out a given policy consciously is doing it blindly, right? Our party has laid down the general line and general policy of the Chinese Revolution, as well as various specific lines for work, specific policies. However, while many comrades remember our party's specific lines for work and specific policies, they often forget its general line and general policy. If we actually forget the party's general line and general policy, then we shall be blind, half-baked, muddled-headed revolutionaries. When we carry out a specific line for work and a specific policy, we shall lose our bearings and vacillate now to the left and now to the right, and the work will suffer. You know, once again, understand what you're doing and why, and then you get to and people are on autopilot. Policy and tactics are the life of the party. Leading comrades at all levels must give them full attention and must never on any account be negligent. Well, this seems a little over the top, but they'll be all right. So, I don't know. Any hot takes in the chat over what we've read so far? You know, I'm doing this theory stuff for myself, so it's you know, it's difficult. It's difficult. All right, classes and class struggle. Classes struggle. Some classes triumph, others are eliminated, such is history. Such is the history of civilization for thousands of years. To interpret history from this viewpoint is historical materialism. Standing in opposition to this viewpoint is historical idealism. In class society, everyone lives as a member of a particular class. Everyone and every kind of thinking, without exception, is stamped with the brand of class. Ooh. And this is something I don't know if that all makes sense, you know, to a certain extent. You know, like Kropotkin was from a wealthy class, you know, he was like a wealthy class, you know, but was still, you know, under, you know, so I don't know if that's, maybe I'm reading too much into it. But, you know, I think greater fucking thing to take from this is pay attention to who you listen to, you know. Which, in like easy examples, you've got the amount of rich people that say don't raise my taxes, right? Like, we know why they're saying it. It's not because they fucking care about public schools, that's for damn sure. But what's one of the difficult things in the United States is that there's so many people who believe that they are a part of a class that they are not. They act as if they are part of a class that they do not exist in, and that's where the constant education of the masses is like, it's got to be like a daily thing. I think for the more like the strict and principled leftist, that's something that's like it now has I think like incorporated into your daily speech. That doesn't mean that this don't mean people can work for other class. Yeah. No, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, not that people can't work in any class, but in a loose term of like, pay attention to who's talking and where they come from. Changes in society are due chiefly to the development of the internal contradictions in society. That is, the contradiction between the productive forces and the relations of production. The contradiction between classes and the contradiction between the old and the new. It is the development of these contradictions that pushes society forward and gives us the impetus for the supersession of the old society by the new. And yeah, so like this is where man, I mean, like, the United States just jam-packed full of contradictions, and like, I mean, like, I guess, is it easy to start when at the very beginning when they say all men are created equal, when they didn't provide equal rights to anyone else other than like white landowning men, or to like right now, like where people like literally people, oh, the shining city on the hill of democracy and freedom, yet we imprison more people than any other country. We like are between the funding, between police funding and the incarceral state, that like the United States spend more on those two things than any other country spends on their entire military. So it's like, and I mean, hell, like the idea that you could pick yourself up, I mean, like, America is a place where you could pick yourself up by your bootstraps, but look at the minimum wage, look at what's actually possible as far as upward mobility. These are the contradictions in
P.S.
life.
Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
That we need to continually to address and bring up, right? The contradictions in, like, hey, you've got so many, why does the Constitution talk about general welfare of the people when we can't even get health care for all the people? There's internal contradictions here. Which, hopefully, especially like healthcare or something, there, that has gotten more people to come along. Student loan debt is another one where people are like, and I'll say this too, is like, as far as like getting food, as far as having cops not arrest you and beat your fucking ass on the street, as far as like, yeah, not having a fucking safe and good place to live. These are the contradictions of just like that, like, come from poverty, right? And living in a civilized, quote unquote, civilized nation. This is where the effort to like just interject, right, comes into play. The greater societal contradictions, like or not, greater, but I guess like the more bougie societal contradictions, I should say. Student loan debt is like one of those things. And at this point too, it's like healthcare is one of those things where the PMC class is like that is hyper focused on, right, the cost of healthcare, because there's some people who never fucking had healthcare, and like it's just not like, it's just like there are things that they need before healthcare, right? Stable living, which I'd love to provide all at once, but I'm just talking about like, how do you cut to the core to people, and what do you use, right? Like certain contradictions within society that just are eventually going to make the tectonic plates shift. The ruthless economic exploitation and political oppression of the peasants by the landlord class forced them into numerous uprisings against its rule. It was the class struggles of the peasants uprising, and peasants' wars that constituted the real motive force of historical development in Chinese feudal society. In the final analysis, national struggle is a matter of class struggle. Among the whites in the United States, it is only the reactionary ruling circles who oppress the black people. They can in no way represent the workers, farmers, revolutionary intellectuals, and other enlightened persons who compromise the overwhelming majority of white people. Ooh, damn. So Khrushchev said he was from the proletariat, and well, Zhao said he was from the bourgeois, and well, Zhao was from the bourgeoisie. Then Zhao said we have something in common. We were both class traders. Got him. We are both traders to our class. Word, word, word. No, it's all good. That's an interesting story. Interesting, sick fucking burn. But yeah, and so this is where, like, you know, who's the fuck what he would say now, right? But at the end of the day, just understanding the proletariat's the proletariat, you know? So it's, yeah, you know, at the end of the fucking day, like, yeah, like the reactionary ruling circles are the mechanism that allowed for the oppression, right? It is up to us to organize the people. I think everyone should receive the things necessary to survive. Yeah. So cops, why aren't they part of the working class? Well, this is an actionable thing, right? This is actions. This is in practice. Because at every chance the police had to show class solidarity, they don't. I mean, the police have been historically used to tamp down labor, or, you know, it's like in the United States, it's either they started from slave catchers or they started from like anti-labor gangs. Like, that's basically your only two options for the start of whatever fucking police department is closer to you. And so, yeah, like, I mean, like, that's basically it. You can't rely on police to stand with the working class. The police are only there to exist for one reason, and that is to protect capital. And it's shown through like history, whether you go back yesterday or hundreds of years in the past, you know, within this United States. The police here they ain't us. There should be no police unions. There should be none of this shit. Like, they're not part of the proletariat. They don't count because they discounted themselves. Yeah, that's who they're protecting. It is up to us to organize the people. As for the reactionaries in China, it is up to us to organize the people to overthrow them. Everything reactionary is the same. If you don't hit it, it won't fall. This is also like sweeping the floor. As a rule, where the broom does not reach, the dust will not vanish of itself. Social control, protection of property. Yep. I like this. Okay. I like this. This is one of my favorites. Right? Especially here. Everything reactionary is the same. If you don't hit it, it won't fall. This is also like sweeping the floor. As a rule, where the broom does not reach, the dust will not vanish of itself. Now, I feel like there's always an ongoing conversation, especially like with me, about whether to engage in electoral politics, which like I think is a resounding yes. I don't want to concede power. Where the broom does not reach, the dust will not vanish of itself. Okay? So where does the issues come in? Because when people say, oh, electoral, when I say, yes, we need to engage in electoral politics as leftists, people think I said the Democratic Party will save us, right? And those are two very different things, okay? Those are two very different things. The Little Red Book. What would I do? Man, I don't know. I don't have a good, hey, you're new to the left, here's a good book to read to give you some broad brushes. I don't know. Mao's Little Red Book. Honestly, so what I'm doing, Castle, is like literally just reading the Black Panther Party's entry program, right? Like their political education entry program. I'm trying to read through all that, and so it's got some essays in it, and then it's got a whole list of all the other books. But yeah, there you go. Combat liberalism, and like that seems like, I mean, like, I don't know. I think the first thing I read was like the Communist Manifesto. It was just like, okay, like I guess I got to do this thing and read it, and it's like, I don't know, pretty easy to zip through. But there you go. Yeah, combat liberalism. Yeah, and like that's the thing too, is like there's tons and tons of YouTube videos and podcasts and stuff like that. I think like people you should read and think, be able to like hopefully like think, or at least like read, or like audiobooks and all this stuff. Like do whatever you can to actually like just take in and roll through the shit by yourself. But also you got to we definitely always need to talk theory with one another, because I mean, because like dialectical materialism is one of the staples, right? Understanding of where people are, right? And so we constantly need to talk with each other to make sure that what we're doing currently it makes sense, right? It makes sense in the now.
P.S. Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
State of your mom, bitch. That's where I'm at. yeah, I don't and like that's some of this shit's hard. Like Capital is not like, don't read Capital, don't pick it up, okay? Not right now, right? If you're new, don't like, oh, read Capital, don't. Glad to know you too, Sal. But this is the thing, right? We need to have these discussions to make sure that our actions are actually tied to our values. You know, this is an ongoing learning process, like Mel, said before. So yeah, and like if you're new, and I'll say this too, we can be mean, Castle. If you're new to the left, we can be mean. But just do your best.
I know you're hoping and praying that maybe we'll have another war, but it ain't happening.
Oh yeah. I've got some light beats in the background. Can you hear them or no? I can turn it up if it's too low. Yeah, like the federal, exactly. And like that's the thing too, is like,
P.S. Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
I was actually like thinking the other day, it's like, oh man, I'm probably gonna read the Federalist Papers again, like, because I'm a fucking
P.S. Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
But like, there's a lot of good brain shit in there, and like also to understanding how we can use like these like fucking Jefferson and Washington names against other people, right? This is where I get into taking the theory into now, because sometimes we can't use the name Marx, sometimes we can't use Mao, sometimes we can't use Lenin, Engels. We can't say, hey, read this, right? We need to have a better understanding of history, right? This is just history, so that we can use these names against them. Did they know that, who's that motherfucker that they always, was like, oh, the father of capitalism? Adam Smith. Adam Smith talked about, hey, if we're going to do this capitalism thing, we need to have a strong welfare program and healthcare, and like people's health should be taken care of. Like literally talked about having guaranteed healthcare, but people will say, nope, Adam Smith said, invisible hand, get fucked. So was it Thomas Paine or Adam Smith? Either way, maybe it was Thomas Paine. That's why you need to read this shit again. But like literally spelled it all out, and just, well, this is why capitalism does not work. This is why it was never going to work, right? But at the end of the day, if we could just use some things and say, hey, your daddy said we need to do this shit, right? Your founding father said we needed to do this shit. And we could actually start fucking having people turn over some things in their heads. But also, so actually, let me see if I can. There he is. This guy, Dr. Asatar Bear, is a professor of economics, but he's a Marxist economic teacher or professor. I believe you can get into, like, I think he's selling or not. Oh yeah. So I'm pretty sure these online classes, like, anyone can just sign up for, and they're fairly fucking cheap. But I was actually thinking about, so I've been on a few panels with Dr. Bear, and I was like actually thinking about like, trying to bring him on stream just so he can like, teach a little bit, yeah. Well, that seems like Richard Wolff, like, our invite to Richard Wolff was just sitting, in the inbox, right? But like, I know dude, so that's why I'm like, his dude, like he wants to teach people Marxism and economic theory, or like, yeah, that's what he wants to do. So like, follow this dude, hit him up. Like literally DMs are open, ask him about Marx. But also, yeah, when you talk about Professor Wolff, like that's where too, if like, go crazy on YouTube with Professor Wolff. Don't watch the debate. Oh, of course. I mean, Gomer is like the real fucking teacher theorist on this cell site. And actually, I invite, like, I'm not sure, I think Gomer might be busy. I invited him on to hopefully come today, but all right. The enemy will not perish of itself. Neither the Chinese reactionaries nor the aggressive forces of U.S. imperialism in China, outside of China, will step down from the stage of history of their own accord. Ooh. God, did I hydrate again? Did I? Anwar Sheikh. Reading. You know what I've found? Castle 97. And, at that point, like, if you're talking about, like, hey, I haven't engaged in, like, in theory and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, you've got all the fucking, classics, okay? You've got all the classics that you can read, which, you've got some interpretations. If you actually just like reading, what I've started doing too is, like, understanding that there are publishers that only publish good shit. And when I say good shit, I mean books that are based in leftist theory. So it may be a book on fucking hairstyles, literally, but it's, written from a leftist perspective. And so, yeah, so Haymarket books, Zero books, those are two off the top of my head. I'm sure, like, there's definitely a few more out there. But yeah, if you just check those out and just start looking, like, maybe just try and find something that you're interested in, and that might actually feed into it a little bit faster. But those are just, yeah, if you, when you're shopping for a book, Haymarket, Zero books, chat, if there's other shops that only print like left shit, like, throw it up. A revolution is not a dinner party or writing an essay or painting a picture or doing embroidery. It cannot be so refined, so leisurely and gentle, so temperate, kind, courteous, restrained, and magnanimous. A revolution is an insurrection, an act of violence by which one class overthrows another. Chiang Kai-shek always tries to wrest every ounce of power and every ounce of gain from the people, and our policy is to give him tit for tat and to fight for every inch of land. We act after his fashion. He always tries to impose war on the people, one sword in his left hand and another in his right. We take up swords too, following his example. As Chiang Kai-shek is now sharpening his swords, we must sharpen ours too. Now, this is Verso. Absolutely. Cornel West is another great one. And actually, too, one that I want to fucking read that I, like, already know is dope, but I've read parts of it, for like class and some a few years ago. But his book on the Black Panther parties and kind of like describing the legacy, historical context of the Black Panther Party, I've heard it's really, really fucking great. Nonfiction book nerd side, yeah. Gave purpose to it, yeah. So, and this is something where it's like understanding the mimicking power. What is the, yeah, literally, hey, if we must go tit for tat, fight for every fucking inch of land. And like, I think this needs to be the mindset, like literally and figuratively. So, who are our enemies? Who are our friends? All right, this is something, everyone paying attention right now. Everyone log off of Twitter and listen to what I'm about to say, okay? Get out for the Bird app and listen to what I'm about to fucking say. This is a question of the first importance for the revolution. The basic reason why all previous revolutionary struggles in China achieved so little was their failure to unite with real friends in order to attack real enemies. A revolutionary party is the guide of the masses, and no revolution ever succeeds when the revolutionary party leads them astray. To ensure that we will definitely achieve success in our revolution and will not lead the masses astray, we must pay attention to uniting with our real friends in order to attack our real enemies. To distinguish real friends from real enemies, we must make a general analysis of the economic status of the various classes in Chinese society and of their respective attitudes towards the revolution. So to distinguish real friends from real enemies, we must make a general analysis of the economic status of the various classes in society and of their respective attitudes towards the revolution. Okay. Now, let's whisper of a dream. Let us whisper of just the lightest dream. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm gonna turn the music off because I have to whisper. It's so fragile. Okay. Let's whisper of this dream where leftists just focus on what's important and don't get caught up in the bullshit. Okay, what if we can do this? What if our anger was only focused at our real enemies outside of our class and hostile to the revolution, right? What if we united with everyone, right? Everyone. Whisper of a dream. We play too much, y'all. We play too fucking much. Like, two criteria, right? Economic class, what is their fucking attitude towards the revolution, right? Before you say, I'm going to clap back. What's up, Winnie? Before you say, I'm going to clap back, what is this person's economic status? What is their attitude to the revolution? Is this person my enemy? Or do I just need to walk on and not pay no mind to it? For real, for real. I got you, homie. Come on. Two things, right? Like, for real, could you hold yourself to that going forward? Someone says something dumb. Someone says something mean to me. Someone says something rude to me. Someone says someone racist to me. Economic status, respective attitudes towards the revolution. Trust me, there's plenty of cases where people say some fucked up shit in left spaces, whatever the fuck, all everywhere. Is this person my enemy, though? I see chat doesn't even want to engage with this shit. They're like, nope, we're not even going to sign on to this. I like my Bird app. I like to fucking clap back. Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying, though, 2 criteria, right? Before the clap back. What is the economic status of the person? What is this person's attitude, respective attitude towards the revolution? And here's the thing, too, is like, you just before you ratio a bit. That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? And Winston, why are you looking like that? For real, you know? But like, honestly too, you know, this is, you know, going into the grander scheme of things, you know, when you're in the fucking meeting, you know, you're in the steering committee, you're in the whatever committee, and people are fucking pissing you the fuck off. And you want to say, fuck it, I'm out because I don't like these people. That's okay. I'm not saying organize it in space and you don't feel comfortable. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying at all. Very much only fucking organize and place, you know, subject yourself to the shit you feel comfortable with, right? 100. But before you try and tear something down, before you try and burn a bridge, before you try and talk shit, what is the economic status? What is the analysis or respective attitudes towards the revolution, right? Because a comrade is not a friend, right? Let's just go ahead and get that the fuck out. Comrades and co-conspirators, you don't have to like them. They don't have to enjoy all the same social activities as you do. It would be dope, but that's not how this works. That's not how revolution fucking works. You need to know who your friends are. Our enemies are all those in league with imperialism, the warlords, the bureaucrats, the comprador class, the big landlord class, and the reactionary section of intelligentsia attached to them, right? So I think we could all fucking key into the Raytheons and the fucking Republicans and Democrats, BlackRock, landlord class, the reactionary section of intelligentsia. This is your fucking Cato Institutes, Rand Institutes, right? These think tanks, Bill fucking these bill generators and shit like that. It's an entire fucking structure, right? Entire structure. And this is where, though, when he says, where was it? Where was it? It's like, basically, don't give up a motherfucking inch. Not 1 inch. Right? So, we need to have an answer, right, for all these things. That tit for tat, we need to have an answer. We need to be building out to have an answer to all of these things. Oh, yeah, he lost and you can't support him ever again because he's a loser? Is that why you can't support him again? Or is it because you realized he is just a huge piece of shit? Was that the only reason because he lost? You know, what type of fair weather ass fan are you? Like, did you only like him because he won the first time? Or did he lose some type of orange hue? Was he more orange before? I don't. Oh well. I'm happy you don't like the loser then, I guess. So, yeah, intelligentsia, right? The leading force in our revolution is the industrial proletariat, which I don't know so much that industrial, like that I don't know so much that that's the case. Our closest friends are the entire semi-proletariat and petty bourgeoisie. Okay. Remember when we were talking about enemies? Leading force in our revolution is the industrial proletariat. Our closest friends are semi-proletariat, and then the petty bourgeoisie. As for the vacillating middle bourgeoisie, their right wing may become our enemy, and their left wing may become our friend, but we must be constantly on our guard and not let them create confusion within our ranks. For this, this is the way through. It's like I'm trying to put this in the understanding of like where the United States is right now. And there is a lot of people in the, semi-proletariat and petty bourgeoisie that just don't get it, right? These are like 99% of Republican and Democrats are semi-proletariat and petty bourgeoisie. Hey, Squib, I ain't trying to talk shit. I'm just saying, like, industrial isn't, industry ain't what it used to be in America, But at the end of the day, like, we need to understand that this is like the semi-proletariat, petty bourgeoisie is a fuck ton of the people that we're, gonna continue organizing and trying to bring over to our side. Well, and that's where I'm actually kind of curious as to what year that was. And so here's the thing is that like towards when before Martin Luther King was murdered, there was this greater understanding of like the class shift, right? But like that was an understanding too, like the failure of of having race-based, liberation.
P.S. Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
Like by the time Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and many other people in the civil rights movement, by the time that they were either getting stuffed out, imprisoned, all those things, there was an understanding that the class analysis, right? The class struggle is the actual fight to be had. And that, and I mean, think about like what we have fucking, left over now, right? What is the semblance of the civil rights movement? All these things, like, what does that really fucking mean for so many black people, right? And it's just been like these tiny reforms. No, I didn't vote for Biden. I didn't vote for Trump either, but I didn't vote for Biden. Hell yeah, Squibbin. Anti-imperialism machine. Actually, just gonna take a. Yep. The Killdozer. Hell yeah. I'm gonna laugh like it'll be all dark, right? And it'll be like the headlights, but it'll look like a Jeep, and like the headlights are like, is that a Jeep? And then it's like as it comes out of the shadow, it's just this giant fucking like the Killdozer. Been looking for someone to weld spikes to everything. Which politician would I like to see for president? Kshama Sawant. I'd choose Kshama Sawant as my politician. I think if I had to pick a current politician in the U.S., I'd say Kshama Sawant. But if you want to know who I like, I supported Bernie Sanders in the past race. I think so. I mean, Kshama's fucking like the real deal. Yeah. Professor Wobbles. Well, and that's the thing too. Is like maybe like, are you just KSHAMA space SAWANT, Kshama Sawant, I believe. Yes. Down to here. Thank you. Oh, Pog 420 God. Just thanks for the follow. I better adhere to your name. Got him. Yeah, I gave that one up. Gave that one up for free.
P.S. Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
So we learned, hey, Squibin, industrial proletariat, you're it, right? You're the top. You're the leading force with the Killdozer. And then we got the semi-proletariat, petty bourgeoisie coming in before afterhand. Well, Killdozer was the bad guy. Oh no. Whoever sides with the revolutionary people is a revolutionary. Whoever sides with imperialism, feudalism, and bureaucrat capitalism is a counter-revolutionary. Contra, if you will. Whoever sides with the revolutionary people in words only, but acts otherwise, is a revolutionary in speech. Whoever sides with the revolutionary people in deed as well as in the word is a revolutionary in the full sense, right? Speak, talk the talk, walk the walk. Easy. I hold that it is bad as far as we are concerned if a person, a political party, an army, or a school is not attacked by the enemy. For in that case, it would definitely mean that we have sunk to the level of the enemy. It is good if we are attacked by the enemy, since it proves that we have drawn a clear line of demarcation between the enemy and ourselves. It is still better if the enemy attacks us wildly, paints us as utterly black and without a single virtue. It demonstrates that we have not only drawn a clear line of demarcation between the enemy and ourselves, but achieved a great deal in our work. Oh, wow.
Okay, so this is the bonus episode. If you're watching this, it's because you've given me $1 or you pirated the episode. If you...
Oh, wow. So this is a... It's really actually about poop. All right. I'll check out the Killdozer later. So this is, yeah, and honestly, so this right here, this is when I was like, all right, this is my idea, right, of like what were the Black Panthers doing? How do we replicate that? Why do I want to replicate that? Because like those motherfuckers got killed for doing the right thing so well. And it's something to be expected. So having people attack you, criticize you, whatever, and like this is the thing is like take Bernie Sanders for instance, right? You know, out of all of the people, right, that have been in the Democratic Party for decades, that ran for president the past 2 cycles, only one of them got demonized and slandered to the point of straight up anti-Semitism in some cases. Well, why is it, right? Because he was actually doing a good job of threatening some of their class interests. And like that's the thing is like, man, it could if Bernie won, what do you, I mean, like, did you ever think about it? What if Bernie won? You think anything would happen? You know? Like, JFK wasn't talking like Bernie. Oh, yeah. Sorry. You asked for that earlier. So yeah, I think like Marxist info is like got a lot of free shit. So and that's the thing too is like I remember like there was like one thing that was like Bernie has like this 100 fucking things that he would do, executive order day 1, and it was just like, yeah, motherfucker, you gotta act quick. You need to act quick. All right. We should support whatever the enemy opposes and oppose whatever the enemy supports. It's like some, I don't know. Some of this is like Sun Tzu shit. Which like I get it, but like, come on. Our stand is that the proletariat and of the masses. Our stand is that of the proletariat and of the masses. For members of the Communist Party, this means keeping to the stand of the party, keeping to party spirit and party policy. After the enemies with guns have been wiped out, there will still be enemies without guns. I was talking about this earlier. They are bound to struggle desperately against us, and we must never regard these enemies lightly. If we do nor now raise and understand the problem in this way, we shall commit the gravest mistake. Oh, nice. Sorry about that. Oh, shit. Yeah. 1 second. Where was it? Fuck. Oh, here we go. So that's the thing, is like they don't make this shit easy to learn. They don't make this shit widespread. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm going off the fucking photocopy. What actually, I'll bring this over here. Now that I found what I was, nope. Actually, I didn't want to do that at all. I just fucked that all up. You get over here. You get in there. So off of this site, I'm going off of this fucking list right here. And so like 10-point platform, rules of the Panther Party, legal first aid. We've read in the past few weeks. There's like certain, let's see, we went like one of the essays. Where was it? Number 10, capitalism plus dope equals genocide. We had read that like like maybe a week, 2 weeks ago. So yeah, like I'm going off of this. But also, like, one of the things that's included, like you need to do every day is also keep up on current events, right? You have to know what's going on in the world. You gotta like read up on like just the day-to-day news and shit like that. And then also so basically it's like three things. You need to read like historical Marxist theory. You need to read what's going on in the party. You need to read the local news, right? You need to know what these motherfuckers that you're going to be talking to are seeing, right? So you can actually speak English to them. So the imperialists and the domestic reactionaries will certainly not take their defeat lying down, and they will struggle to the last ditch. After there is peace and order throughout the country, they will still engage in sabotage and create disturbances in various ways, and will try every day and every minute to stage a comeback. This is inevitable and beyond all doubt, and under no circumstances must we relax our vigilance. In China, although the main socialist transformation has been completed with respect to the system of ownership, and although the large-scale and turbulent class struggles of the masses characteristic of the previous revolutionary periods have in the main come to an end, there are still remnants of the overthrown landlord and comprador classes. There is still a bourgeoisie, and the remolding of the petty bourgeoisie has only just started. The class struggle is by no means over. The class struggle between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie, the class struggle between the different political forces, and the class struggle in the ideological held between the proletariat and the bourgeoisie will continue to be long and torturous, and at times will even become very acute. The proletariat seeks to transform the world according to its own world outlook, and so does the bourgeoisie. In this respect, the question of which will win out, socialism or capitalism, is still not really settled. And Mao was right on this one, right? Because this is what I was saying earlier, right? What are we at with China? State capitalism in some areas, with like pretty powerful and influential oligarchs. Yeah. So this is where too is some of that's like, I don't know. People aren't just going to go away. Beliefs aren't just going to go away. Yeah, and like, I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert in like China, current fucking Chinese political fucking shit. I've got very fucking, I don't know, kind of base understanding of it, and then just keeping up with whatever the current events are. So it's basically, whatever Xi Jinping and the party bosses, whatever they want, that's happening. In our country, bourgeois and petty bourgeois ideology, anti-Marxist ideology will continue to exist for a long time. Oh, that's what we just read. No. This is the same. This is... Oh. It will take a fairly long period of time to decide the issue in the ideological struggle between socialism and capitalism in our country. The reason is that the influence of the bourgeoisie and of the intellectuals who can't come from the old society will remain in our country for a long time to come. So will their class ideology, right? And like we would have to assume the same thing in our case. If this is not sufficiently understood or is not understood at all, the gravest mistakes will be made and the necessity of waging the struggle in the ideological field will be ignored. So, and this is where too, of like having, I think, and like, I don't know. Well, fuck. Now I've got another thing that's like on my list, right? So, one of the things that myself and some others were kind of like batting around is like, basically, what would a new 10 points look like today? Especially fucking something that would galvanize everybody, right? Or at least try like going for the proletariat, right? More Communist Manifesto, type thing. But at the end of the day, same shit. The same shit. Just a basic list, something simple that the people can understand, that tells them what we're about, right? And if they got a question about any one of those things, that's when we can expand on that, right? When you're actually dealing with people, in the world and all that stuff like that, like, oh, that's number 6, education, and then start going into whatever the issue is, right? So like that's something that's like just we're trying to talk about, and like it's easy, right? It's not something like we're not trying to be like, I'm not a damn Black Panther. Right now I'm just a motherfucker asking, how did they do that? That's all I'm doing, right? How did they do that? What would it look like today, right? We're just playing with history at this point, okay? So just FBI, chill. Sit down. I'm just playing with history, okay? But why would we do this? Why would we start thinking about this? Because like there's something that I see is there's a lot of organizations, there's a lot of people, but there's just they're just scattered. Revcoms, I don't know. Radley, I don't. Well, and I mean, like, I would just, what, I would say, and actually, I'm gonna use, like, hey, I've never described myself as Maoist. I don't know what the criteria is. I'm not CIA joke. But I would say 2 rules, right? We just went over some things. It's like 2 rules, right? What is the class, what is the economic class of the person, and what is that person's, idea or feeling towards the revolution, and like, hey, poor people who are pro-revolution, like, tell me no more. I don't want to be an accomplice, right? We're just having coffee. Oh shit. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I like to walk into situations, hopefully the best intentions, and I mean, can anyone tell me what the criteria is for being a Maoist? Does it just follow the tenets of Mao, or is there like a be despicably bad at agricultural reform? Is that, I don't know, it's separate from that. Are they talking about this Mao? Not big on art or culture. I'm a big fan of art and culture. Oh, fuck. How far do we get? Ding, 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 ding. All right, we almost... Well, I'd say... Actually, too, it's like, yeah, as a former vet, like the first thing that I think that I take personally as any personal responsibility is to like do anything I can to fuck up the military. I think we got a good thing going here with like counter recruitment and trying to go to that route. There are some more, I would like literally more militant actions that I would definitely be interested in seeing. That I don't necessarily think I'm going to talk anymore about that. But yeah, you know, like that's the only thing that I think like a veteran has or should, you know, like are you taking the opportunities to correct the record of what the the United States military is, what it's done, you know, that type of thing. And you know, but when it comes to chitty chitty bang bang, the people who have danced before are probably going to be helpful for the upcoming prom. Right? If that's as far as it's going to go, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, other than that, use your veteran card for good, like for real. Just use your veteran card for good. i.e., talk about US imperialism. So, in China, although in the main socialist transformation has been completed with respect to ownership. Did we already do this? Oh, yeah, because I didn't want to back up, sorry. Both dogmatism and revisionism run counter to Marxism. Marxism must certainly advance. It must develop along with the development of practice and cannot stand still. So, and like, this is one of the things that like that I wish more, you know, especially like there's some strict ass like people who are like, no, we need to do it like Marx did it. But it was like, or you missed the point. Like, we got to bring it into now. We got to bring it to the people, right? We got to bring it to the people that we got right in front of us, right? Okay? We got to bring it to the people right in front of us. Right when? When you don't give a shit about Karl Marx. You want wet food every time. You want to be an active fool between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. We got to be able to figure some shit out for on our own, basically what I'm saying. We got to learn how to apply this shit to right now. Here we are. Marxism isn't stagnant, right? Marxism is not stagnant. I'm gonna get that fucking tattooed across my goddamn neck. We are supposed to read these things and think about how we can use it right fucking now. Okay? Exactly. This is not something where you just get to point to a list, right? You can't just point to, oh, hey, just do these 10 steps, right? The 10 steps are always changing, depending on what's happening right fucking now. It would become lifeless if it remained stagnant and stereotyped. However, the basic principles of Marxism must never be violated, or otherwise mistakes will be made. It is dogmatism to approach Marxism from a metaphysical point of view and to regard it as something rigid. It is revisionism to negate the basic principles of Marxism and to negate its universal truth. Revisionism is one form of the bourgeoisie ideology, right? And we have seen that. If you grew up in the United States, the revisionism is one form of bourgeois ideology. We have seen that in our lives, right? The revisionists deny the differences between socialism and capitalism, between the dictatorship of the proletariat and the dictatorship of the bourgeoisie. What they advocate is, in fact, not the socialist line, but the capitalist line. In present circumstances, revisionism is more pernicious than dogmatism. One of our current important tasks of the ideological front is to unfold criticism of revisionism. Revisionism, or right opportunism, is a bourgeois trend of thought that is even more dangerous than dogmatism. The revisionists, the right opportunists, play lip service to Marxism. They attack dogmatism, but they are really attacking is the quintessence of Marxism. They oppose or distort materialism and dialectics, oppose or try to weaken the people's democratic dictatorship and the leading role of the Communist Party, and oppose or try to weaken socialist transformation, socialist construction. After the basic victory of socialist revolution in our country, there are still a number of people who vainly hope to restore the capitalist system and fight the working class on every front, including the ideological one, and their right-hand men in this struggle are revisionists.
That thing, is there actually somebody over there?
All right. Okay, so I did want to get to 3 chapters, but I talked too much. I should have started earlier because we kind of got a drop dead time. But I'll let you know what I got going on. I am going to be on Lauren Ashcraft's show. Myself and Steven Simler are gonna be. So it's like, hey, if you're a regular watcher and you see War is a Racket Wednesdays, you basically get a War is a Racket Sunday, because myself and Steven Simler, we're gonna be going on her show in about an hour. You know what? I'm gonna go fucking throw a fucking rock in a body of water from Mike. PJ, thank you for being here. I also really fucking appreciate the mod team. thank y'all for doing what you do as well. And man, oh man, yes, thank you. So but you know, we'll give one last. I want to give one last, you know, shout out to Mike. But I'll be on this, you know, another YouTube. I'll do another one. I'll be on this YouTube channel in like 54 minutes. But yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get tired of this.
P.S.
Honestly.
Ted Cruz, go fuck yourself.
These people frighten me. They frighten me. When you have mainline candidates that turn around and say that there's nothing off the table with respect to Iran, that's code for using nukes, nuclear devices. I got to tell you, I'm President of the United States. There will be no preemptive wars with nuclear devices. To my mind, it's immoral, and it's been immoral for the last 50 years as part of American foreign policy.
Let's use a little moderator discretion here. Senator Gravel, that's a weighty charge. Who on this stage